Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some really positive news recently released for Tesla stock. And so this news today is very much in contrast to the actual market reaction today. So with this video, we're going to be discussing specifically the Tesla delivery and production numbers for Q3 of 2020, breaking down the charts, talking about that in comparison to expectations, and also referencing some related news to that from a member of ARK Invest. So today's video is all about this news. And so I know that a lot of you already know about this already. So basically, Tesla just recently announced a record Q3. Not only did the numbers for this quarter exceed the numbers for Q3 of 2019, but it also exceeded every previous quarter, in which this is now the all-time record quarter for Tesla. So a very impressive quarter in itself. And so before we get into the Tesla investors press release and also discuss the charts and things like that, we have to address what the stock is currently doing in the market. And before we get into that, as always, please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the Tesla videos. It really does help me out. As you can see, we are currently at $411 per share for Tesla stock. We got a minus 7.38% drop today. That's minus $33.07 subtracted from the share price. And then we got a minus 0.99% drop in the after hours, which is a minus $4.09 drop. So with today's positive news, in contrast, we kind of saw a negative market reaction. Obviously, a lot of that does tend to correlate with just the general stock market trend right now. Pretty much every single stock on my list that you can see at this point is in the red. So this isn't something specific to Tesla. It wasn't like we had a green day in the stock market and Tesla was one of the few that was in the red. And as we know, when there's a general downturn in the stock market with that general trend going downwards, Tesla tends to be one of those that takes a bigger hit than some of the others. Nvidia is kind of similar. Apple is a little bit similar as well, considering the similarities between the run-up between Tesla and Apple lately with the stock split and things like that. So this is honestly no surprise, and some would expect that maybe Tesla would still have a green day and have a little bit of resistance in comparison to the rest of the market given this good news. However, as we know, there is a little bit of a premium price tag on Tesla, and that's just because a lot of us have factored in many things in the future, and most of us already realize that. I realized that when I'm buying Tesla stock. I even bought it today, full disclosure, if you all haven't seen my other videos. I actually bought some Tesla stock today. I just bought one share at $415, but if it continues to go downwards even more, then I will continue to buy it any chance that I have if I have cash on the sidelines. So anyways, let's start off this news video by checking out the official press release from Tesla themselves. So let's check this out and then we'll expand on it a little bit further. As you can see from this announcement from Tesla Investor Relations, this is all about Tesla Q3 2020 vehicle production and deliveries, and it states, in the third quarter, we produced just over 145,000 vehicles and delivered nearly 140,000 vehicles. And it basically breaks this down with a chart right here stating production, deliveries, and subject to operating lease accounting. And so for the Model S and the Model X, it says 16,992 produced, 15,200 deliveries, and it says 13% subject to operating lease accounting. Then for the Model 3 and the Model Y, it says 128,044 for production and 124,100 for deliveries, and that is 7% subject to operating lease accounting. So of course the Model 3 and the Model Y, those are the big sellers, and the Model Y is expected to sell even more in the future as production increases and ramps up, especially as we start to see phase 2 completed for the Shanghai Gigafactory, and as we start to see Model Ys being pumped out, because of course we already know that the Shanghai Gigafactory is dominating in terms of Model 3 production, and they're starting to export that as well. So for the total, as it says, production 145,036, and then deliveries 139,300, and then it says 7% to operating lease accounting. So basically from this, there's a little bit more production than deliveries. Now of course, don't look at these numbers and think, oh, there's more production than deliveries, maybe there's a demand issue. No, that is definitely not the case. There's not a demand issue. As we know, some things are a little bit time sensitive, and there may have been some vehicles that might have just come off the assembly line, especially as you had that tight squeeze towards the end of the quarter. And so there's still the distance between getting it off the production line and actually factoring that into the listings on the sites and getting that sold to someone. And below this chart actually explains that a little bit more. So it says, in terms of days of sales, new vehicle delivery declined further in Q3 as we continue to improve our delivery efficiency. Our net income and cash flow results will be announced along with the rest of our financial performance when we announce Q3 earnings. Our delivery count should be viewed as slightly conservative, as we only count a car as delivered if it is transferred to the customer and all paperwork is correct. So that kind of of goes on to what we were discussing there with deliveries compared to production. And then it says final numbers could vary by up to 0.5% or more. Tesla vehicle deliveries represent only one measure of the company's financial performance and should not be relied on as an indicator of quarterly financial results, which depend on a variety of factors, including the cost of sales, foreign exchange movements, and a mix of directly leased vehicles. So there's a lot of different things that come into play when it comes to the actual financial report for Q3. So there's a big difference in what we see right now with production and deliveries, and also what we'll see with the Q3 earnings report. However, this in itself is very impressive. And so according to this article from Yahoo Finance, it says the manufacturer of high-performance electric vehicles slightly beats the market consensus of 134,720 vehicle deliveries. So it says that the expectations were 134,000, almost 135K vehicles, which is something that Tesla was able to beat. So with that in itself, it has beaten the general consensus and expectations. So that's always a good thing. Sometimes when we see a company beating expectations, that's usually when we see a green day for that specific stock in the stock market. That's of course not always the case, especially on a day like today where the general stock market is having a downturn. However, I think that's important to note because not only did it beat expectations and prove Wall Street wrong once again, but it also beat its own past records as well. And that's where we're going to check out some of the charts for the most recent quarters. So with that, we have a chart of vehicles delivered courtesy of Hypercharts. So of course, we greatly appreciate this. And so this shows the recent quarters for Tesla since Q4 of 2016 all the way up to this most recent quarter, which is Q3 of 2020. So as you can see, there's a big difference in not only Q3 and Q2, but Q3 of 2020 and Q4 of 2019. And just keep in mind that with that, the fourth quarter for Tesla in terms of deliveries is consistently the best quarter. So as I said earlier, we have beaten the Q3 deliveries for 2019. So just addressing the Model 3 for 2019, we had around 80K deliveries. And so for the Model 3 in 2020 of Q3, we had 90,000 deliveries. And there's a big increase with that thanks to the Model Y as well. As I've said in past videos, the Model Y is expected to continue to play a big role in Tesla's future, in which it's supposed to be a comparable level to the Model 3 in terms of sales. And even Elon Musk himself has stated that he expects the Model Y to sell possibly more than the Model 3 in the future as they're able to ramp up production. Like I said, with the Shanghai Gigafactory, and especially in Giga Berlin as well, where they're supposed to have 8 gigapresses, something that will really help them ramp up the Model Y. And then I've also believed they've discussed some structural changes to the Model Y in Berlin as well with that factory. So a lot of interesting things to come out of the Model Y in the future, and I think we will continue to see these numbers increase as they're able to ramp up production. And as I said with the Shanghai Gigafactory, once they get phase 2 constructed, keep in mind they've already announced that it's likely going to be constructed much earlier than expected, possibly in November of this year. So once that's completed, the Shanghai Gigafactory will be able to ramp up production for that. And I also believe there was a recent article about the Shanghai Gigafactory in which you're supposed to have 3 different shifts after the Chinese national holiday. So a lot to come for sure with the Model Y, and that's something that I'm really excited about, especially for Q4 of 2020. So this most recent quarter is something to really celebrate in terms of not only is this beating expectations and also exceeding the numbers for Q3 of 2019, but this also beats every previous quarter by far. We haven't seen a quarter like this since the comparison of Q4 of 2019 to Q4 of 2018. So just imagine what Q4 of 2020 could look like so far, just given everything that's been happening, and especially given this most recent stellar third quarter. So you all should be excited about this. I know I am. This is something that has really impressed me. However, I have to say it's something that was within my expectations. I believe that Tesla could do this, but to still see them consistently execute like this is very impressive. And this is almost comparable to the example of SpaceX, how it is just mind-blowing that they're able to re-land the rockets and things like that. But even though it's so mind-blowing and it's something that really impresses us, we expect it now consistently because it's SpaceX. And the same thing kind of applies with Tesla as well. So this is something that I expect to see continue in the future, especially with Q4. And I think we are on track to get near this 500,000 delivery number. I think that Tesla can do it. I would not be surprised at all if Tesla reaches this 500,000 milestone. Of course, I will definitely be impressed by it, as I'm impressed with this most recent quarter. But with that, it will of course take a lot of hard work and consistent execution. And so with all of those charts being shared, I just want to add a little bit more perspective from ARK Invest Sam Corris, and this is a great tweet kind of representing the position that Tesla is in right now compared to the rest of the auto market. And so he states, one of these things is not like the other. And this is an image showing the year-to-date over-a-year vehicle delivery growth. And first off, we have the global car market year-to-date through August, and that that is at minus 23%. And then we have global Tesla year to date through September, and this is at 25%. So pretty much Tesla has done the inverse of the global car market. The global car market has seen a shrinkage in their business, yet Tesla is seeing a huge increase in their business by around 1/4. So there's a big difference between the two. And as Sam Corr says, one of these is not like the other. And as we realize at this point, it is just a matter of time until we see this trend continue and Tesla continue to dominate even more as the EV market starts to get a bigger foothold in the total auto industry. Now, of course, we do have to address that this is year to date through August and year to date through September, so you can do with that what you want, but still, I think the basic point is still here in the sense that there's a big difference between Tesla and everything else. And also, lastly, just to provide a little bit more perspective, we have a post in Tesla Investors Club from user SKPL, and this states year-on-year Q3 deliveries growth, and so it basically shows the trend of Q3 deliveries over time since 2011 all the way up until 2020 with the most recent quarter. So basically, from this point onwards in 2017, we have a tremendous amount of growth, and then as you can see, there's a big difference between 2019 Q3 and 2020 Q3. So this just adds a little bit more perspective in chart form regarding the amount of progress being made in terms of deliveries, just comparing the most recent quarters. So this once again notes how impressive this most recent quarter was in terms of deliveries. So all in all, I just wanted to focus on this really positive news because I feel like there's a lot of perspective, of course, like from Sam Corr, and also with the expectations and things like that, but we also got right into the statistics as well with the hypercharts and the Q3 deliveries charts where we can look at the numbers and see exactly what's happening. So I just thought some of these different factors of this major news piece would be important to share with you all. Please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and also feel free to check out Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with my referral link, you'll get some free stocks, and especially with Webull right now, you can get one free stock valued up to $1,600, and to get that, all you have to do is sign up with my referral link and deposit $100 into your account. And keep in mind, you can take that $100 right back out after you get your free stocks. So it's basically just nice passive income with minimal effort. So I just want to let you all know about that. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.